Welcome to Music and Medicine. Welcome to Music and Medicine. Welcome to Music and Medicine. I'm your host, Dr. Moshe Lewis. Welcome to Music and Medicine. I'm your host, Dr. Moshe Lewis. I'm so excited to be joined by my friend, the brother, TJ Wilkins. You've seen him on The Voice, you've seen him in 44, and now they're bringing it to Los Angeles, and we're so excited. Delighted to have you in studio, my friend.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. So, looking back just a little bit, how'd you get interested in singing and then getting the nerve to be on a show like The Voice, which is so intense?
Oh man, so I started singing at a young age. Both my mother and father sing.
Right.
My mom sang in the church choir, and my dad is a gospel recording artist and songwriter. So I would just be the little kid, kind of just hanging out at the studio sessions or at the rehearsals, and then found out that I had a voice and ended up doing like a talent show when I was in elementary school because I was trying to impress this girl.
Oh, okay.
And
it just comes out.
Oh, yeah. So I signed up, and I just remember opening my mouth and singing, and then when I opened my eyes, because I just closed my eyes and went for it, I opened my eyes, and all these girls were screaming, and I was like, yep, I found it. I found it. And from there, studied music all through high school, and then ended up going to college for music at Cal State Northridge.
Right.
Got my degree in musicology, and my senior year, I got the call to do The Voice. So it was like perfect timing, and that was one of the most fun experiences of my life.
Sure. And let's talk about that a bit. So you got on Team Usher, and let's just walk through of what it's like getting recognition from such greats.
Wow. So for me, it was surreal because I've been a fan of Usher for a long time. He definitely is one of the people who I consider an influence, and has had a great influence on my career. So when I was presented with the opportunity to work with him, it was a no-brainer. I'm like, Usher, as much as I love Blake Shelton and Adam Levine, but it was like,
no shade.
This is the guy I looked up to my entire career. So I have to, and it was so awesome being able to spend very close time with him and just pick his brain about everything from performance to picking records and all of that kind of stuff. He was very hands-on, and that's the part the public didn't really get to see. Right. And his line was always open to communicate and with questions about anything. And so Usher, if he's watching this, Usher, thank you. Yes, sir. So it was great.
Sure.
It was great.
Any particular pearls that you feel, gosh, even though I had studied it, because that's much rarer, it exists, but not that often people actually study music at the college level, that you feel in that experience, gosh, I really grew, an inch that day in being able to hear from this artist who's been out there actually doing it, because there's theory and then there's putting it into reality. Absolutely.
The first thing that comes to mind is something that Usher shared with me, and he said, luck favors the prepared. And a really talented young lady by the name of Wyan Vaughn has a song called Dope Game, and when she says, if you stay ready, then you don't have to get ready, you know what I mean? And you always be ahead of the game. And so I took that to heart, and I saw, well, a lot of these greats have that in common. They're always, honing their skills. If it's, if you're a talented singer, you're going to singing, lessons, or you're taking lessons with a vocal instructor, or you're picking up an instrument, trying to further, push yourself to be a better musician or whatever it is. It's always something. So I felt like I really grew like 6 inches that day when I got that, because it was a very simple message, but it was very profound. Because you find out how many people are unprepared, and all it takes is just you doing it. So yeah.
Absolutely. And then you stumble across this gentleman, Eli Bauman, not really sure exactly where the opportunity may lead, maybe doing some voiceover work. Tell us about that experience and sort of how now it's blossomed into a full musical with you as the lead.
Oh, wow. That is just incredible. So ironically enough, from The Voice, the experience of The Voice is how I even met Eli Bauman. one of my good friends, a singer by the name of Danny Mose, had gotten in touch with Eli, doing some studio stuff with him in preparation for 44. And was really funny about the two of us is we actually got eliminated on The Voice the same episode. So there was like a pact there. We're like, yo, we're always gonna look out for each other. Cool. And as you know, fate would have it, Danny called me one day and said, Tej, look, I got this guy. He needs somebody to sing these songs for a musical. Can you do it? Sure. Right. I go down to the studio. I meet with him, and he explains what he's doing. And the concept was so genius. I'm like, hey, man, yes, I'm in. And we did a couple of recording sessions, and there was one of the songs, I believe it was a song in the show called Obama Cares. Right. And it's a song where President Obama kind of outlines his whole healthcare plan, the Affordable Care Act. And there was a bit of a skit, a dialogue part right before the song starts. And as a joke, I recorded it. Right. And I sent it off to Eli, and he called me. He says, man, that was perfect. He goes, hey, was that you doing the Obama part? I was like, oh, yeah, I was just messing around. And he goes, hey, man, we may have to do something with that. So I'm like, oh, yeah, whatever, you know, and I throw it out of my mind. And the more we recorded, I noticed he would just add more of those little voiceover parts in there, and I'm just having fun. Sure. And before I knew it, he was casting the show, and he told me, you know, he wanted to take it live, and asked me would I be a part. I said, absolutely, whatever you need. And what I didn't know was he had me in mind to play the lead. Right. So when he dropped that bomb on me, you can imagine, right. You can imagine my surprise. But I felt so very honored to be a part, and I happily accepted.
Sure. Absolutely. And tell us a little bit about what it's 44, the musical, about.
Oh, absolutely. So 44, the musical, is based on the first 4 years of President Obama's presidency. It kind of talks about, takes you on a journey from, you know, where we were kind of in the dark ages, as we'll call it, after the Bush presidency, and everyone was like, look, we need something different.
Something new, we need hope.
Right, we need hope, man. We really need it. And, you know, the fact that President Obama, you know, we kind of were all made aware of him at the 2004 Democratic National Convention. And from there, he just became the front runner, you know, for the Democrats, and kind of takes you also through the journey of what it was, what society kind of looked like. Accepting a black man like in that position, and takes you all the way. It literally takes you on that journey, and it's so cleverly done because, you know, sometimes when you think about a musical about the Obamas, you go, oh man, it's gonna be melodramatic and all this kind of stuff, and it is not. It is so very clever. There's so much satire and just social commentary, and it's really an honor to be a part of the show and work with this amazing cast. They helped me like bring my acting chops to a new level, so it's great.
Sure. And talk to us about the role that Michelle plays and how important that is to the whole story.
Oh my goodness, so Michelle is such a key component of the show. Funnily enough, Eli worked with the Obamas for the President Obama's first campaign, which is, I believe, where he said he first got the idea to do this. And he explained to myself and the cast, he goes, you know, I had the opportunity to really meet this awesome human being of a person that just was so regal and so, you know, just almost like godlike. He goes, and then you find out she has a cool husband too, you know. It's just to show you what he really feels about Michelle. And Michelle really is the anchor for the show. She's the voice of reason. She keeps Barack grounded. And also, you know, when he needs that pep talk, she's the coach and the support. So she really plays such a huge role in the show, and just being that perfect counterpart.
Sure.
So, yeah.
And your relationship, without trying to get too personal, is very important to you. In what way do you feel like you've learned a few pearls in sort of how they carried theirs?
Oh, my goodness. Teamwork makes the dream work. That's the thing that's the first thing that comes to mind. You know, at any time I can remember seeing the Obamas in public, I always saw a united front. Now, I'm sure, you know, being like much, you know, all married couples, they probably had things. I even watched the documentary in which, you know, the first lady talked about it. She's like, you know, we went to counseling. I'm like, fix him, you know.
Exactly.
You know, but you could actually see that at the center of their relationship, love, you know, was the centerpiece. And so, you know, teamwork and support, you know, the way that he would speak about her, you know, you like, man, this dude really loves this woman, you know, and rightly so. Sure. Like, and so, you know, for me, kind of seeing that teamwork, you know, was very inspiring, and it inspired my relationship, you know, with my lady. So it's beautiful.
Sure. The show is called Music and Medicine. When you hear those words in the same sentence, how does that speak to you?
Oh my goodness, it hits me right to the core because I just believe music is medicine. You know, if you think about, based on the mood that you're in, you know, you want to hear music. Music literally is the soundtrack to life. So, you know, when I'm happy, I want to hear something great. If I'm sad, if I'm angry, if I'm trying to get into fight mode to go work out at the gym, you know what I mean? I got songs for that. And it's medicinal, you know. Music allows us to express ourselves when we can't find the words, you know. Or sometimes it's just a feeling, like if you're listening to instrumental music or something, you know. So music and medicine are, in my eyes, they're one and the same.
Right. And from a health perspective, the show and getting ready for it has also inspired you to even take your health more seriously, because you had to get up on your B game and all that. Tell us about that journey.
Oh, yes, sir. So when I was made aware, rather I'll say that way, when I was made aware that we were going to be doing an extended run of the show, I said, okay, well, I have an opportunity to really get into character. So I began what's now called the Road to 44. And I got with my trainer, I explained what I wanted to do. I'm like, look, man, I want to look like Obama, man. I can't be out here looking like an offensive lineman. So I gotta slim down, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. And he put a workout plan together for me. So I've been hitting the gym 6 times a week. And as a way to keep myself accountable, I do posts on my social media, and the posts are called Sweat Equity. It's like, I want to show people the journey that, you know, this is a lifestyle. Like, I'm preparing for a role, but my health is something I take very seriously. It's something that I've dealt with, you know, in terms of being active and, you know, building a nice, strong body, and eating the right things, you know. So it's kind of got a dual-fold meaning for me, and this is just something that I can have people be a part of, you know. So it's going well. I'm on day 28,
right?
And I didn't know this. I literally discovered this yesterday, but from the day that I started until opening night of the show will be 44 days of training,
Exactly.
which is nuts,
Crazy.
right? Totally unplanned,
Right.
But you know, really cool nonetheless.
Sure, absolutely. And speaking of opening night, when is it and where are you all going to be?
Oh, yes, sir. So opening night is November 2nd. We're going to be at the Bourbon Room in Hollywood. It's a great, wonderful venue. There's dinner and drinks, and you know, one thing about 44 is it's very loose, you know. So we encourage audience participation. If something hits you, you know, scream, yell, you know, that gives us, you know, more incentive to really dig in. And you know, it's a show that is it welcomes audience participation. Sure. So yeah.
And tell us about the success so far, going from workshop to actually the other cities you all hit already.
The response has been overwhelming. When we first did the workshop back in September of last year, it was so incredible because, again, the show was, you know, it had never been done before. Much like Hamilton, where, you know, it was educational, but there was also this entertainment factor. Of course, Hamilton happened, it took place in like, what, the 1700s or something like that, or 1800s, whereas, you know, a lot of the people that we're portraying in 44 are actually still living. You know what I mean?
Right. It's current history.
You know, so it's been awesome, and everybody, you know, has really enjoyed the show, the music, the jokes, and even you know, just learning about the politics, you know, and you know, things about like bipartisanship and how bills and things get passed and how some of them get buried. You know what I mean?
Exactly, the real truth.
Absolutely. So it's been overwhelming, and we're just excited to come back, and so very thankful for the cast and the new additions to the cast, like Shanice, who is a legend and just the best of the best. So it's been really awesome.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to attending it. We hope you will as well. 44 playing at the Bourbon Room here in Los Angeles for 3 weeks, and the tickets will sell out, so we hope you'll check it out, starring Shanice Wilson as Michelle Obama and the wonderful TJ Wilkins as Mr. Barack Obama. So thanks so much for joining us.
Doc, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Man, such
Thank
an
you.
honor. Yes, sir.